Hi Aries, welcome to your mid-September 2017 tarot update. It's Rena here. So what else do I want to say? Or what else? I didn't even say anything. One thing I want to say is that below this video there will be links to a love reading if you're single called Ready for Love, and that's on Vimeo. And then also a link for private readings. And the other thing I wanted to say is that this is a general focus. So it can be any topic. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. If you're looking for a pure love reading, you know, I do general love readings every month. It's on my channel already, so you can check that out. Okay. I'm going to draw this back a little bit. I think it'll be, I don't know if I can. Okay, so the heart of the matter for this end of September period is the Six of Pentacles. This can be some kind of issue that comes up regarding getting paid for what you deserve, or if you want to just look at it in general, getting what you deserve for the effort that you put into something. This is definitely one of those cards that I would associate with something in the workplace where you might be wanting a raise and you feel like it's not fair. You see the scales, so it's talking about some kind of a just situation involving who gets what. But this could be even like in a marriage, where one person feels like the other person isn't pulling their weight. And so there can be some kind of conflict. So one example is where one person is staying home raising the children and the other person is working. And is this a good balance? Does the person who's at home feel like they have to beg for money, that they're taking advantage of the other person? You know, those kind of issues kind of come up sometimes. And even forget about children, with two people who are in a live-in situation, who pays what bills, you know, those kind of awkward discussions sometimes. So let's look at the past position, see what's going on here. So in the past position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is a card of apprenticeship. Even for students, I could even see like students who are studying that aren't even doing kind of craftsman type of positions, but anyone who is preparing for a particular type of job. So maybe one partner is going back to school and the other person feels like they have to carry the financial load. But this can also be a card of somebody, I see it sometimes with a marriage situation that is a little bit rocky, where one person is putting all their effort into it and trying so hard to make it work. And whether or not it's succeeding is a different story. Sometimes people, they kind of double down when they're in that they're having that feeling that something is wrong in the relationship, and the other person maybe isn't even making that effort, and it's one-sided. But we have but oh yeah, you know what I was going to say, and I can't believe I didn't include this, is that what could be happening is that you have gone back to get some type of extra credentials so that you can make more money. And so The Lover's card comes in as a choice. So you may have gone back and gotten extra credentials, and for some reason it still didn't yield what you were hoping it would. And so you may have to decide whether or not you're going to stay where you are or possibly move on. This card can also be talking about in personal relationships that it could be like two people involved. So there could be like an extramarital affair going on. Perhaps you felt like this is just one example, but you tried to make your marriage work and it didn't, and the other person is controlling with money, and so you are having an affair. And those kind of things happen all the time, right? So it's not really that outlandish. People do that because they feel like, well, I tried and it's not working. And the only problem with that is that it doesn't solve the problem, I mean, but I'm assuming in those cases, the person might have children, and so they feel like they're trapped in their marriage, and this is kind of their escape. I don't know. But that's just another possible scenario. What the challenge is the Six of Wands. So this is the card of success and being recognized by others in the career sector. So that's what I'm saying. It's really the idea of the money. When people get a raise, for instance, there's always the focus on the amount of money. But really, the energy behind a raise is that the company recognizes the value of the employee, and so they kind of present this tangible proof of realizing the person's value. And when you don't have that, then you feel like you're not appreciated, and you feel like you're not moving, like you're stagnant. And so that may be what's creating that kind of problem. It's interesting that we're looking at 2 6s. Oh no, actually 3 6s. That is really amazing. 6 of Pentacles, the Lover's card is number 6, and then the 6 of Wands. The number 6 connects to the planet Venus. And Venus is about harmony. Venus is about love, okay? And when people feel out of whack, there's like a disharmony in that situation. So we have the scales with the 6 of Pentacles. What is fair? What I do, I want to be appreciated for. And I don't feel appreciated, I don't feel like I can take a bow and that I can, maybe you thought you were going to get something that you didn't get. And that feels like a sense of failure, rejection, or even betrayal. If you felt like you were promised something that didn't come through. The advice is the High Priestess, and this is about connecting with your higher self, and also on a personal note in terms of any type of relationship issues, be it in the workplace or in your marriage, the committed partnership sector, that there may be things that you do not know. People may be keeping some information from you. If you're the one keeping secrets, if you're the one having an affair, watch out, because that could come back. I was just thinking about this. It's so funny, because sometimes when I'm doing these readings, I forget what sign I'm reading for. I'm just thinking about the cards. But Aries, on October 5th, you're going to have a full moon in your sign. So, that could be like, there's like this darkness, and then all of a sudden a flashlight shines on Aries and everything becomes exposed. Usually I don't see Aries people participating in any kind of like extramarital affairs, because Aries tends to be a very upfront, above board sign. And yes, it's about ethics, but even more so, you're just transparent. And I don't think you like artifice all that much. So you don't like lying, and you don't like sneaking around. And but anyone has the potential for doing something if they feel desperate. So I'm not going to say that 100% of Aries people would never cheat. That Lover's card can also connect to the sign of Gemini, if that is somebody in your life. But the point is, with the High Priestess, is about going within. Aries tends to be very active, and you tend to be more likely, you're very impatient about doing things. And what happens is that you may be rash. Sometimes, in other words, you act without thinking due to impatience. And also that you're not reflective enough, that you don't look at past mistakes and really say to yourself, what could have I done differently? And just think about what it all means. You tend to kind of just move on to the next thing. And that can lead to repeating the same mistakes over and over again. So that's why the High Priestess is about passivity, reflection, instead of action, taking stock in your situation. The outcome is the 10 of Wands. So you may be saved by your work. Your work may be a refuge. You may be just working your butt off and not getting a raise and feeling like you're going to burn out because you're working so much. But in the interim, if you're deciding, if you're unhappy where you are, knowing an Aries person, you're probably already looking for a new place to go. But in the meantime, you may actually find that a lot of the problems that you're having kind of disappear just by being able to work very hard. And if you have a situation that is where you're dealing with a sense of imbalance financially in your home, you may be the one who shoulders that responsibility and works extra hard if the other person is not working. Not only because you're generous, but just because you have that capacity to, you have a lot of energy, so you're able to work overtime and things like that. You don't have a problem working as long as you feel a sense of autonomy, that you're not under somebody's thumb, and that you have some kind, you have some kind of choice in the matter. And so you may decide that you're going to do some work, more work than you typically are doing, just to take care of a certain domestic situation. I'm going to pick one more card just to see, and this is a card that has a great outcome of financial security. Now, sometimes this may indicate going it alone, because the number 9 connects to more of an interior energy. So it's a card of financial abundance, but you may decide that the lack of equality in your primary relationship is symbolic of something as a whole. Like there's other things that are wrong, and this kind of just highlights it. And you may decide, I don't really need this. I'm working hard already. I'll just be on my own. And the same thing with a work situation. You may decide, I have enough money where I can quit. Because this is, the number 9 does connect to the Hermit, if you think about it, in the major arcana. So you're looking at that contemplative and humanitarian energy. You may decide that you want to do something that benefits other people even. And that could be something that you are doing on your own. So anyway, Aries, very interesting cards here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of September. Bye.